Okay, so welcome. It's about 15 after, or 10 after, so we're gonna get started now. Are you doing water? Just hello. Water? I'm okay. Can you fill this one? Yeah. This is the water.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, you already started.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
Oh my
that. It's okay. Yeah. So unfortunately, not many people in person, but we do have some online, so that's good. Welcome to the Procedural Workflows in 3D. So this is a full kind of working through of the procedural systems that I have used in my workflow that I feel are very beneficial and will save you so much time. And hold on. Oh dear, I think something's happening, guys. What's happening to the stream? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
What happened? Oh, everything's
It's
green now. Guys, I think some green gremlin thing kind of took over GAC, and now everything's gonna be green from now on. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Well, I hope the GPC doesn't get mad at us, but we'll just continue on now regardless, as if nothing happened. So yeah, GAC was invaded by green gremlin. Let's just carry on because we have a time to get through. Oh, I can just stop here. Onto the session. So, what is one of the most challenging aspects of making 3D art? I want some responses in VC. What do you think is challenging about 3D art?
You have to actually think about how you're gonna model things. You can't just, because it's different from 2D art where you're just like drawing. With 3D, it's very technical. Making sure things work properly. It's not like broken. You don't have like random floating vertices. Topology is like actually optimized.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot more technical things versus if you're just wanting to be an artist, it's easier just to draw,
Yeah.
right? But when you're doing 3D, you have to think about all the technical things. References for sure. Topology, yes. Topology, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good reasons why 3D is kind of difficult in the first place. But I feel like the one thing, especially in this program, that causes 3D to be much more intense is the time management. 3D takes a long time to make, right? This is the one thing I think I definitely, oh, thank you so much. Welcome. This is the one thing I definitely struggled with kind of the most is I have so much stuff I want to make and there's not enough time in this school year, right? These models exist within the 3D space and they can have several different lighting scenarios, so it's important to figure out how you can capture all these angles, make it look good. It's a tedious workflow of concepting, blockout, art pass, UVs, baking, texturing, rigging, animation, shading, lighting, so much of like a step-by-step process. And it's difficult to, work through that and know that you can, get through that process without having to backtrack constantly, right? And then after all that, you still have to optimize for real-time rendering in games. And by the way, if anyone does have a question or want to say something and I don't see it, you can just unmute and tell me because I won't see it most of the time on the Discord. So, for example, this is an example. How's it going? Good. This is an example from last year. I worked on this concept art for about 3 or 4 hours, which, then again, I didn't put as much effort in as I could have. But the difference between making something in 3D versus 2D, it takes so many more steps to do this. You gotta do the planning, modeling, unwrapping, texturing, shading, rigging. This is just drawing, right? And I'm not saying drawing is less difficult. It's just you can usually get through more faster, right? What's the solution that I propose for this? Procedural workflows.
Crazy.
Yeah, so what are procedural workflows? A powerful method used to create assets, texture, shaders, lighting, etc. Using algorithms, rules, and automation to create 3D assets. And this requires little to no manual work. The computer saves you the pain. And for this year specifically, I added this next line here, it's not AI. That's always a plus.
AI.
Just to clarify that we're generating things with computer math, not with AI, right? So it's just math to make art, right? We love math, not AI. So some applications in media would include terrain, world generation, asset distribution systems such as a foliage tool to instance all these different things all along our terrain, non-repetitive tiling materials, and particle systems and animation. Those are just some examples. Why should we do this? This is because these are scalable and non-destructive workflows. And this is very beneficial when you are in a state of constant trial and error. You are trying different things in the game. You're seeing what looks good in the engine, what doesn't, right? So when things are very easy to reiterate on, and they're not as, it's not like you have to redo the entire mesh that your hand sculpted or something. Doesn't work. When you have, let's say, a subdivided cube or something, you can just move one vertex and there's several, like 8 or 16 of them, right? You can get very high fidelity results with procedural workflows. That's because, one, you can crank up the poly count, the resolution procedurally. It helps so much versus when you're doing everything, let's say, by hand. Every single vertex you have to place yourself, or every single bit of the texture you do yourself, right? It's also ideal for performance because we're working with computers. And so that's always going to be more performant versus trying to fight against it. Saves a ton of dev time, as I mentioned, and leverages the strengths of computers. So, some workflow examples include, for the modeling aspect of 3D, modifiers in Blender, because I know most people would be using Blender, and other 3D modeling softwares have their own versions of modifiers. But in Blender's case, it is a fantastic way to create models. They save time creating precise models and allow for quick iteration time. Some examples include subdivision surface, array, curve, boolean, bevel, mirror, decimate, solidify, lattice, displace, etc. Right? And so this was an example from a game I worked on last year where we had all the bleachers and they're all very similar looking, right? And so why would I want to hand model every single part of that when I can just model a small section and then use all these modifiers to wrap it around the arena with some curves, with some arrays, and then some booleans to cut out certain holes in the models, right? And this is new for this year. I really wanted to just hone in on vertex colors because they are amazing. This is a bit more of a hand done part of the modeling. I don't know why the light's doing that. Is it over here?
Might be on motion, then since you stepped away.
Maybe I need to be over here.
Just stay there, let's hope.
Yeah, so vertex colors are a fantastic tool we have at our arsenal, and they can be leveraged for per vertex shading, coloring, masking, etc. And this is an example of, for my game this year, all the models are using vertex colors, and the benefit of that is the time to create these assets is so fast. We can get so many assets in the scene really quickly with very simple coloring added, right? And then from there you can then texture it on top, right? Vertex colors just save so much time. And you can see, you can also make it procedural with vertex colors in the geometry nodes. And speaking of that, geonodes. So this is, I'd say, the biggest, like the end game of Blender's procedural modeling workflow. I highly recommend you all to start just toying around with geonodes because they're great. It's a little scary, but
I'll get there one day.
it's fun. And if you've already done node editing and shaders and everything in Blender, a lot of that knowledge can translate pretty well into geonodes. And yeah, it's great, honestly. So in this setup here, we start with the position of the world, of the object in the world, and then add a blur, like a linear gradient between that. This is I think this is just the base color of the vertex. This is the gradient itself. This is just the position in the world. This is some added noise, and this is the output. Right, so just step by step by step by step. Texturing. So, there are two softwares that you can get access to pretty easily in this program through the software portal on Ontario Tech. It is Substance Designer and Substance Painter. These are my personal favorite for doing texturing, whether it's by hand or procedurally. And starting off with Designer, these are materials that are non-destructive and tile indefinitely. They're incredibly powerful for environmental details. And after that is Substance Painter, which is procedural workflows in conjunction with traditional art workflows. So this is useful for creating hero assets like characters, props, main points of interest that you want to have custom UVs for versus something that just tiles indefinitely, right? And so Designer is more for entire worlds versus Painter is more for per asset, right? Let me take a sip of water first. Just check here.
On the inventory.
All right. And continue from there, we have masks. So masks are great. This is a good in-between between doing things hand painted and doing them procedurally, right? So you can still hand paint masks, and essentially they are great for blending different visuals into your 3D art without having to fully texture things by hand, right? So you can say these lines we want to blend into our ambient occlusion or our shadowy areas of our map. Versus here, we have these lines and we want to say, let's make a painterly kind of grass look with them, right? And then you can see, we just go into our shaders in our Unreal or Unity or whatever, and then we blend those in as we wanted to, right? So here we have those lines just kind of slightly darkening, only in the occluded areas. And then over here we have those lines that are sort of very minimally blended into the grass here, just to give it a breakup of monotonous texturing, right? So masks are great. And hand painted, drawing textures by hand sucks. I'm just kidding. It's great, but it's far trickier to do just right in 3D, and it takes much more time. And it's the biggest struggle is it's very destructive, and you won't be able to iterate it quickly, right? So this is great, but this should usually be near the end of your texturing when you have, let's say, a nice block out of whatever scene you have with all of the tiling textures on it. I'd recommend doing hand-painted stuff near the end, right? As like the cherry on top of your projects. So animation. This is, I didn't cover too much for this slide, but some examples are real-time shader-based animations using math. Math is really cool, trust me. So here, in this scene, you can see there's the grass, which has some vertex movement based on some noise masks that I was able to put in there. And this helps so much because instead of me having to hand animate every single grass, which is just not required, and all of the grass moves together, because one, it's all instancing, and then two, in the shader, it applies a noise in world space to kind of move along the entire bit of grass to move it all together, right? And then that's all super performant because it's all being done in the shader, so it's all just straight through the GPU, not through the CPU. And then over here we have our control rigs, and this is just examples of doing some rigging with that, and that's really cool and everything. Just thought I'd show that in there as well. Next we have shading and rendering. Shaders are inherently that's not me. Shaders are inherently procedural, right? We can combine shaders with our materials from Substance Designer to create unique shaded materials, right? Remember those masks that we were talking about earlier, this black and white texture, that can then be blended into your shaders to add effects such as a noisy banding effect or just some overall dirtying, grittying of your models, right? And this goes a long way to break up everything feeling super flat in your scenes, right? Just highly recommend shaders, noises.
Sorry to sign.
It's all good. Right? And if anything, if there's something to take from this, it's using noises to break up your shaders repetition will go the longest way. You can have very simple block out models. And if you have a good shader, it doesn't matter how they look. The shader is going to really carry it, right? So I recommend leaning more to the shading rendering, which is a little scary, especially for when you're just starting out with that. But this is where you really get some juice in what you're making. And as well, this is definitely a bit more complicated and a little further down the line. It's scene buffers. Scene buffers are very powerful. In computer graphics, we have these different buffers that are generated by our whatever graphics software we're using, or graphics engine. So in this case, there's diffuse, normals, Z buffer, specular, roughness, metallic, ambient occlusion, post-processing. Those are some of the main ones. And you can see a few pictures. This is from Elden Ring. And this is in RenderDoc. You can see just like a breakdown of what the scene is rendering before a frame. And in the first one here, I believe this is just a far away fog, and this one is just the Z buffer right here. This is I think this is combining a few things. It's normals, occlusion, ambient occlusion, and adding a bit of noise to that. And then over here is just the wall space normals. Hello, Quinn. Hello. Right? Thanks, Quinn. And it's one thing to show you these and tell you that it works in the engine. You can see it in game that all these combine to get that really realistic result or just really nice looking result in your games. But I can show you an example from the game I'm working on this year where we take our scene buffers and then we combine several different layers together to get a very nice kind of hand-drawn look, right? So in Unreal Engine, it's really great because Unreal kind of just gives you those buffers inside of the material editor, just exposed, and it's phenomenal. You can just take things such as the diffuse, which is the lighting of the scene, the ambient occlusion data, world normals, the Z depth, and screen size, and etc. to add several post-process layers. I don't know why the light keeps doing that.
Should be good now.
Okay, thank you.
I just go the lens.
Excellent. Thank you.
And it's just real.
Yeah.
Yo,
So-
first year.
I was like, yeah, I recognize that model.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Oh
for the
yeah.
glass
That's
itself.
Yeah.
Yo,
Dude, that's crazy.
made that? Oh my god.
I made that.
that's crazy. I should have showed the bucket. The bucket's like off
Bro,
to the
the
side.
bucket was so
Bucket.
iconic.
I know, the bucket's so iconic. I put it in here like right
Wanna see
away
my
as soon as it's
version?
done.
Check this out.
Right. And in A Fool's Rain,
I'll
we
put
just
this up on-
all our models are very simple, and it's kind of using the workflow I've been mentioning throughout this. All these are vertex colors, and then you just add those screen space effects to add some more variation, and then you get such a nice result without so much dev time, and everything looks consistent with each other, right? That's an important thing. And you can see here the process is from, let me just wait. So there's nothing. We blend the hatch shadows and the ambient occlusion. We add some cell shading and saturation, some outlines, and then blur the foliage a bit. And then lighting, finally, we have volumetric lighting. This is, usually you wouldn't be tapping into this very much, but Unreal Engine makes it a little easier because it's kind of available by default. This is usually done performantly with ray marching. And then we have day-night cycles, which is a good way to sort of use procedural animation to, move your light source around or the intensity, and then change the sky and the lighting around that, right? So that's a lot to talk about. When do you use these workflows? I hope the answer kind of comes innately at this point. All the time. All the time, because this is going to really just help you get where you want with your environments, with your characters, with your work much faster. Whenever you need to save time. I think that's the most helpful thing I can say is do this to save your time, because there's so much other courses and stuff that you need to worry about in this program, and the last thing you want is to get a massive headache over the fine details in your model when you can, and why everything's not working, why everything's incohesive, when you can just make sure things are nice and cohesive with procedural work. And yeah, texturing massive objects, you can use tiling textures to do that, right? And that saves so much time. You just drop it in, adjust the scaling of the UVs for that model, and it looks great. You can get a very unique look for your games with shaders, right? So shaders will always be your way to distinguishing your game from the default look of whatever engine you're making it in. Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was working on Stormhammer last year, I was fighting against it because it was just, by default, it was always this blue, this really ugly blue. I was like, I hate that blue. So I had to turn off a few things and adjust the post-processing of it. But yeah, also realistic animations that interact with the environment, right? When you use shaders to do it, it's kind of affecting the world space, right? Versus just per model based. And so when you have things such as the sway of trees and the wind blowing through things, when you have a scrolling texture on the world space, it makes everything just feel like it's moving together, right? Models are made quicker with modifiers, of course, right? Non-destructive. And dynamic lighting, that becomes interesting to look at, right? So, hope you learned that some things are just better avoided. And yeah.
Oh, it's Roger.
So this is like a beautiful template, because usually I use this with any of my slides and I put whatever image there. Yeah. This is Ridger saying, please do not use any sort of hand painted textures, at least early on, because you're better than that. At least Ridger thinks so. So now it's time for the practical component of the session. So I will be working on something in Blender, and you're more than welcome to follow along. And
You can follow along.
it shouldn't be too bad. It's mostly just
You're gonna
modeling,
learn.
not really any texturing for the most part. And can anyone kind of think about what we would be making in this kind of setting?
Is that the match or
Close.
what'd you say?
I said another bucket.
It's close to that. It's made of wood.
Oh well,
box.
no.
A what?
A box?
No, not a box.
Fences. That would
Bucket.
A barrel?
Oh well.
Yes.
Barrel.
We made a barrel before.
We are making a barrel.
We're making a Guinness barrel.
A Guinness barrel.
We did
Yeah.
a barrel in one of your labs. Oh
no,
no,
we did a
oh,
broken
no.
barrel.
We didn't.
No, I don't think we did a barrel.
Never mind. I'm tripping.
No, we
Just
did
like
the bucket. We did the
bucket's very
bucket,
similar.
and then we did the
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
cart,
What is it called? A
the tumbrel cart.
tumbrel cart, yeah.
Yeah,
Tumbrel?
the
Tumbrel?
tumbrel cart. I believe. So
Shh.
I honestly, I was kind of forced at I was threatened by the green gremlin to make this, because there is some there's some reason I can't exactly figure it out why
Okay.
we're doing this. You know, why everything's just kind of green and why we're making Guinness barrel. It's so weird. I don't know, but
Crazy, right?
yeah, we're gonna make that. Oh, really? Oh dear.
I doubt it.
Oh no. Everyone brace yourselves, by the way.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Hide your left sock. Okay. So we're going to get started now. If you haven't already,
2 steps ahead.
you're going to open your blender. And actually,
You're gonna do this, right?
if
You're
you
gonna open the blender?
I put
Yeah,
something,
you do it.
we're gonna go all out on this. I put something in VC, a little bit up here, right here, there's the Guinness font. You see? So this is, we're gonna download this, trust me, it's okay. It's,
Okay.
I hope everyone's on Windows, because I don't know if this wouldn't work on Windows. This is like a font you can download to your computer.
It's your mouse.
It's your computer.
And so if you click that, I'm just gonna pin it.
It's your first time on Blender.
First time.
So boom. Just if you want, you don't have to use this, but we want to use that fun text.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. in this thing.
So download that. And then within Blender, I'm just gonna save this just to not lose it. I had a project and it didn't sync up with
What are you trying
my OneDrive. I was so upset.
to do? No, stop,
I
stop,
got it, I
like,
got it.
stop.
I just want to move.
So I'm gonna save that.
Zoom in.
Yes.
It's a pan. It's middle mouse. Or like. it's
And
a
now-
rotator. Pan goes straight. And the middle mouse.
Metal pie.
Is that it? That makes
I'm going to create a text.
You get it?
So this is if you want to use the Guinness font, because you know that's kind of cool. So here's text.
Oh, sip beer.
If I just type in
Oh no, I just want
Guinness,
Goodness, type in Guinness.
Oops.
so remember it should a text.
Yeah, okay.
So type in Guinness, make sure you're still in edit mode, and then if you go to the data here,
Oh, where's it
there's font. And then in there you can then
How you spell Guinness?
click on the folder here, and then just go to where you downloaded that font,
So very nice.
and then you can just click on it.
You go here, search up text. Text.
Ideally, it'll be in your downloads folder, and then boom.
I need to.
That's not procedural. That's just Guinness text. But we're gonna use
I
that.
forgot what he said.
Hello, it's
You
clear.
say that the thing is a bit tipsy?
Oh, yeah,
No,
we could
you're
even make it the italic having it.
It's
What is
beer and makes you tipsy, haha. Jokes.
That's just the normal one.
Yeah, font. And then go to.
All right.
That you downloaded.
So I'm just gonna move that to the side over there.
You did it. I'll move it to the side.
How do I do it?
Go.
Is it back again?
And then G to move something.
I'm gonna try to ignore it. So I'm gonna also always good to have your PureRef open with your references.
Oh, a pure.
Pure rap.
Yes. Hello. Welcome.
Okay.
Everyone inside.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. We're making a Guinness barrel. The green gremlin said to.
Oh.
Yeah.
You'll see.
I will see.
Yes. PureRef, you should also donate to the PureRef Foundation, guys. They deserve it. So, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna try to do this as non-destructively as possible. And so, what I want to capture first is the curvature of the barrel here. We want to get these nice wooden, sorry, that's really rough lines I made. Really, we want to get those lines in the barrel. And to do that, we're going to use the most common. So first thing, actually, sorry, place a cube.
Shifting.
I'm figuring it out. Where'd the cube go? Oh, there it is. Ignore me.
So how
Did it swim
I'm
away?
doing a great job.
It's
You've
swim away
never
like a
used Blender
jellyfish.
before?
It's my first time.
It's all good. Yeah, I'm in edit mode. I'm just going to kind of scale this down.
And then S.
And
That's the
S,
scale.
I want to do S,
and
Y.
then S.
Yeah, you said why.
S and then Y.
Awful game.
See? So now we're just going to shrink that up. I'm going to select the top face here, G, Z to go on the Z axis.
Maybe 3 for face slides.
So, I mean, I have 20 minutes, so I don't need to rush too fast, but, you know.
It's actually quite interesting because
So we got this plank. And remember, because we're using modifiers, you have to make sure that the, let's say, sorry, the scaling, the object scaling is 1, 1, 1. Because if we scale in object mode and then change the scale here, that's gonna mess up our modifiers.
Okay.
So make sure when you make your plank here, everything is 0, 0, 0 and 1, 1, 1. So I'm gonna go back in edit mode and I want to control, let me move this, Control R. That's to create a loop cut. And then you just click confirm there, and then right click to leave it in the center. Right? And then we're going to just G, and in my case it's Y to move it out a little bit like this. We're kind of bending that a bit.
What did you do?
It's like the corner.
I know. Right, so we got this plank with a little bend in it,
I put a bend in it.
and we just make this smaller. It's a bit too low poly, and we're not going to add more geometry. We're instead going to add our first modifier. This is where our procedural comes in. We're going to click Add Modifier, Generate, Subdivision Surface. Click that. Your shape's going to turn a bit smoother, and it's not ideal, so we're going to fix that. If we go back into edit mode now, you can see the preview where the actual mesh is a wireframe and then the subdivision one is a little smaller. You could change the view here, so you can change how it looks in edit mode in case you want to troubleshoot or get more precision. In this case, I'm just going to leave it like this. We're going to click A to select everything, and then Shift E. And you see it's going to approach becoming a very solidified mesh. We're gonna go just enough so where it doesn't pop, you know, like we're here, we're not letting it go max. So just kind of drag it until it's just a little smaller than the size of the mesh itself. So that it's mostly the shape we want, but there's a bit of a bend, you know? I think we have the president, the gremlin has arrived.
Yo, hold on. It's been in my head all day.
We have our plank. And to get that better curvature here, we're gonna, so we're deselecting everything, clicking on our edge select mode, then alt selecting that middle loop. So when you alt select, it selects the entire loop. If you shift E that, and then go the opposite direction, make sure this is set to -1, the edge crease. This appears once you make that crease the first time. If you click away, it goes away. So alt select that loop, shift E, bring that to -1 just to remove that. So now the area we want to have a bend is bending the way we want. See? So this is 12 vertices, and we're getting this, right? much easier to figure out.
You can find it to analysis.
Check here.
So you say, well, that's like the best one.
All right. So now we want to get this plank in a circle to create that barrel shape. And so the way I propose we do this is we add an array modifier. So generate, I'm going to use the legacy one because I don't know if everyone has Blender 4 or 5 yet, and I believe this new array is a little finicky sometimes. So we're just going to use array legacy so that even people on older versions can do the same. So now we have these. There's two. Yeah, and then you could add more here. You could add more of the count, the difference, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that by hand. We're just going to add the array, and before we do anything, we're going to Shift A, create a curve, make a circle curve. We have a circle that's a curve. All right. And so from here, what we can do is we can go in our array and fit type. There are 3 fit types available to us. We have fixed count, fit length, fit curve. We want to select fit curve. So all those are going to disappear, but we can select this new circle we made with the eyedropper. And you can see, whoa, there are more now. There are more of these planks. However, they're all in a single line. But what's important is that the length of them is the same as the circle here, as the circumference of the circle. See? So how are we going to deform it around our circle here? Well, in the modifiers, we have to go to deform to deform the mesh around it. And you see here there's a curve deform. If you click that, so now we have 3 modifiers. We have subdivision first, array second, and curve third. And that's important. Order is very important. Now we're going to click the eyedropper and then select the circle. And it's like, whoa, what happened? It's kind of the opposite direction. Right? And so if this happens to you, very simply you can select this mesh here, and then R, Z, so it's on the Z axis, 180. So RZ 180 to make sure it's a fully 180 degrees along the Z axis. And then from here, you're more than welcome. So this is where it becomes a little easier. You can then turn on, if you go in edit mode, you can turn on the curve view mode here. And then you can kind of take that plank there and just move it up if you want. Maybe I want to select the middle here, G, Z. Make sure you do these edits in edit mode, of course, right? You can see the dev time now. I can just move this one piece here, and then everything moves with it, right? Saves a lot of time. How much after 5 can we go?
A bit.
A bit? Okay. So I won't go too far after, but in case it bleeds a bit. We're going to go back into object mode and then right click shade auto smooth. And that's actually another modifier that's added here. So procedural again, and it's added to the very bottom, and it locks itself at the bottom of the chain here. Right? So if I move these around, it's going to change the behavior, and we want to make sure our order is subdivision first, array second, curve third, and then smooth by angle last. Right? So, at this point, we can create a new mesh. So I'm going to Shift A, mesh cube. Right, and usually I never choose a UV sphere or a cylinder when I'm making rounded objects. All I do is I create a cube or a plane, and then instantly add a subdivision surface modifier on it, right? To get the cube sort of beveled, or not beveled, but divided a bit. Now, remember, keep it at world center, but just go into edit mode so we don't mess up those object transforms. And I'm going to select everything, click A, and then GZ. So just move this up here, right? And at this point, I can then SZ to shrink that down a bit, like this. You see? So from here, what we can do is we want to, once again, so we're going to select in face select mode the bottom and the top face, and then Shift E to remember to bring that edge crease almost all the way. So you want to leave it just a little bit out like that. Right? So we have kind of the cylinder shape without making any major topology adjustments, right? It's just a very simple cube. We could even add another subdivision on top of that to get it a little more rounded. One thing you'll notice though is that these subdivided cubes are a bit more square than, there's a bit of squareness to them still, which could, if you notice, if I move this down, you can see that the corners peek out a bit more, but then the inside here doesn't, right? And that's fine. What you can do is add a little bit more geometry. You could Control R to add a loop cut there, Control R to add a loop cut there. And it looks a little more square now, but if we shift select all four of these, and then all four, or actually just all four of those for now, and then Shift, what is it? Control Shift S? No, that's it, sorry. Control.
Up, we can see the control.
Oh yeah. What is it? I'm literally forgetting right now. Oh goodness. Wait. How do we make a circle with, oh my gosh.
You're asking me.
Wait a minute.
This is my
Face. Face.
I can't have
muscle memory fails.
creative.
Yeah, actually.
Let's make more circle.
Oh my goodness, hold on. That's sheer. You know what? It's okay. We're instead going to go in edge select mode, and then Alt or Shift select all four of these sides here, and then S, Shift Z to scale it along its plane, and just kind of line it, make it a nice circle, just by hand. Because I forget how to make it a circle with the keybind. Oh my goodness. What? I clicked that. I swear I clicked that. Okay, I figured it out. Select all those faces, Shift Alt S. I wasn't tweaking out. I was just, something happened. I don't know. So Shift Alt S is a, oh dear, is a two sphere. So Shift Alt S. I don't know why the bottom is kind of caving upwards. That's strange. We can just,
Because you select.
I don't know why it's doing that. We can just take that vertice and just move it back down. Like there. Right? And so now we can take this, go back into edit mode. GZ. Right? Scale it up a bit.
And then just get like
Loop tools.
do
Oh yeah,
Shift-Z.
I knew about that, but I was like, hey, I don't know if everyone has loop tools, so I didn't want to. Even though everyone should have loop tools, if you were part of my TA class, you should have had that.
Okay, let go.
But
Right.
Game
I
on
want
those.
about this bit.
we're going to shade auto smooth that,
Press Z.
and we kind of want the topology of this to be more in line with this part here.
Like
It's a
when I
bit
say S,
chamfered, so we want to add one more subdivision, just smoothing that out a bit. Right? And so from here, I can select all 4 of those faces. Maybe I could scale that in a bit. Right? At some point it becomes preference, like personal preference, how you want to go about some things. Then you click I to inset to make a face in a face. So scale it in a bit. And then GZ to bring that down. Then you can loop select, adjust the faces. You see you have much fewer faces to work with subdivision surface. Right? And hey, we don't want to do the same thing on the bottom. Why don't we use a mirror modifier? If you click Shift A, we're going to create this object called a empty with a plane axis. This just acts as a transform in the world that we can then use for modifiers. Right? So if I go to my front view, I can just move that down a bit. You see? Click back and make the reason why we made these separate objects is so that we can add this mirror independently to that top metal piece. Click add modifier. And then if you go to generate, there's a mirror here. Click that. So now we have this mirror here. If we click mirror object, click on that picker tool, click on the empty. Nothing will happen right away. That's because we need to set our axis from X to Z. And if everything is okay, if your objects are at their normalized scale here, then it should just appear down here. And since now it's bound to this transform, we can then GZ and move it up to a point we like. See? I'm noticing a few shading issues here, and that's fine. We can quickly fix that. Remember, procedurally, if we tweak this angle right here to maybe 40, and so now that shading issue is a little gone. And I'll try to be a little quicker just for time's sake. We're going to go back into edit mode now. And then if I go into face select mode, I want to alt select that loop right there. And then Shift D, Z. Shift D, Z to bring that down. Sorry if I'm going a little faster now, I just want to make sure we get through this whole thing. Hello.
Sorry. Hey, Slice of Life, could I have 2 people outside, please?
I got it.
Ensign and Charlene, probably?
Is about the print?
Yeah,
Did I mess up?
maybe.
I'm up.
No, it's a problem or?
Right. And we can see this is simply 8 meshes, 8 faces.
So fun.
And then it's, because of our mirror, it's mirroring down under to the bottom nice and quickly. We don't have to worry about making it at the bottom. It's perfectly aligned. And then once again, we can Shift D, Z to bring that down a bit. Maybe now I can go in a loop or edge select, alt select the top, scale that out, GZ to move it down. We want to select the top here, GZ move it up, scale. At some point it becomes preference more than anything.
Which is not
Oh, bye-bye. Perfect. It's very barrel looking. Now, because we're a little short on time, I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible. We're going to do some vertex colors really quickly.
Speedrun texturing.
Hmm?
Speedrun texturing.
Streamer texturing, yeah, exactly. That's what it is. So, I'm going to save the hassle of us making a shader for it. I don't want to. Actually, yeah, we don't need to do that. We can just go to our viewport up here, shading. Click on attribute. So now we can just view those vertex colors in the viewport itself versus having to make material because we're low on time. So what we're going to do, Control Tab, vertex paint. You see that rim turned a bit brighter, right? And then if I go back, you know why I did that? Because it created this thing called a color attribute. And so this will store our vertex color data. If I select the actual barrel itself, Control Tab, vertex paint, it will also turn white. So now what we can do is select the barrel. And I don't see the wood because it's in the center, so what I can do is I can go in here and I can just turn off all these edit mode options here quickly to see this plank. Control Tab, vertex paint. I can't see it in here. There, I can turn off also the monitor viewport. So now if I go in here, select everything in edit mode. So by clicking A, back to vertex paint, you'll see up here, vertex selection. We can click on that, and everything we selected in edit mode will be highlighted. You can see it right there. Or face, but I like vertice. If we click here, and then we can then add a bit of color. We can add some brown. See? And at this point, this is a lot of steps, I know. It's a bit overwhelming, but we have paint, set vertex colors. Boom. Oh, thank you so much, Sagbir. Appreciate it. We have this barrel, and we've added vertex colors. Paint, set vertex colors. I like to speed up this workflow. I set a keybind to Control X to set the color. That just works for me personally. If I turn all these back on, we see our barrel has the colors. Nice. Now if I select the metal part, Control Tab, and then same thing, edit mode first, A to select everything, Control Tab, vertex paint. I want to add a bit of a, kind of like a purple gray. And then from there I can click on this vertice option and then paint. Maybe a bit desaturated. Yeah. See? Nice. And then the cool part about vertex colors is it's per vertex, so we can get some very easy, hello again, some very easy gradients. So if I loop select, so Alt select here, and then back into vertex paint mode. Oh, this is, yeah. I can then change that color to be a bit brighter, a bit more desaturated. And you can see now that the center of the barrel is a bit brighter because I selected that one and I added vertex colors to that, and it gradients into the darker colors, right, to kind of show some wear down coloring. Maybe a little. There we go. Boom. And now I could grab this Guinness text we worked out in the beginning, and transform this around. So I'm gonna R90. Just kind of move that in space. Go in the front view. Put that right there. And then in our text editing here, our data, we can add some thickness with geometry. If we extrude, we can add some thickness, you see? Check, just in case. See? And so, you'll notice, actually I'll put this on the top as well. I'm going to click Alt-D to just instance duplicate. Rotate this 90 along its x-axis. And just move that into place. Alright, Guinness. We have a problem though. This front Guinness text is not curving with the barrel, and that's a problem. So how would we address this? The last modifier we're going to use is lattice. So it's actually, first you have to create the object itself. So if you click Shift A in object mode, there is this option called lattice. And there is, in the new version of Blender, there is deform selected, but we're not going to use that. We're just going to use regular lattice. It will place this invisible object here. I can then just, this is something, the lattice is something you would want to move in object space because that's how it works. It affects things only in edit mode. So if we move this in object mode, it won't affect the object. So make sure you sort of make it the bounding box around the Guinness text. Right? Like that. It can be kind of rough placed. At this point, we can then select add modifier on the Guinness text itself. Generate. Or, sorry, deform, because we're deforming the mesh around the barrel. Lattice. We got a modifier, and it's lattice. We can select the eyedropper, and then select the lattice itself. Boom. And we're almost there. We are almost there. What we're going to do now is go in the data properties of our lattice here. And then we can add, not W, we can add resolution to the U in my case, which is straight through the middle. And then maybe even 2 more, so it's 5 total. Now if we go in edit mode on our text, and then we can select both sides, and then GY in my case to move it towards the barrel. And then if I click Alt-Z, I can X-ray to adjust it. Select these here, boom, boom. And now our mesh is deforming to the barrel with modifiers. You see this strength here blends into it. It's a bit messed up because the geometry of text is really bad. So I wouldn't recommend using text for actual meshes, text object. It's a bit unoptimized. But just for our case, we can see the lattice working. And yeah, I think based on the time, I think this is a good place to finish with our Guinness barrel. So what we covered is we have this plank here, which is subdivided nice and smoothly. So if I turn all of these, subdivided, arrayed, curved, auto smooth, and then we added the vertex colors on top. And then the actual barrel itself is following kind of suit. That's all we have for our mesh itself. We just subdivide, mirror to the bottom, and then smooth by angle. Boom. And then the text itself is just being lattice deformed. So yeah, that is our Guinness barrel. Thank you.
Beautiful. We never
Pretty good
said
for our
actually.
first try.
Oh, that's sweet.
Most of it was me
I love that
trying to
quiz.
keep up because
That's so good.
You are best from team. You never respond to the D.
I know I started from 0 and I still couldn't
Oh yeah?
figure out-
Should I open it?
Yeah.
It's kind of scary though.
It's kind of intimidating.
I don't
Do you
know.
want to open a Dean's chat?
I'm gonna save that because I'm scared.
It's not bad. It's like
Why are you scared?
there's two things are.
I don't know.
One of them is
Maybe I
that
click on-
it's
oh.
the option.
Oh, that's so wow.
And the second thing is the first.
You also put it in pure ref too. I can see. Oh my goodness. Wow,
Whoa.
that's amazing.
That's pretty.
Yes. So if everyone wants to, if they did it, their barrels, they can post it in VC so we can look at it. But that is pretty much it for the actual session. Just move this. That's the last slide. Thank you so much for participating.
Yay! Zucker's playing favorites. He never shows up to any other sessions.
That's wow. I'm flattered, but I'm also disappointed.
Yeah, and him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I have a stamp for him.
Yep, and everyone can get their stamps for the session if they want from Anya.
What I do.
We have some.
I'm
It's really
currently in a merge meeting, by the way. 4 game time.
How do I get out of this?
You're not this see.
beautiful Celtic stamp. It's so cool.
Look at him. He's so funny.
That's so cool.
I
Let
did
me
it the
show
wrong
everyone.
way, though.
Look
I
at
have a screenshot of whoever was in chat, though.
So cool.
Can you see it?
that. Can they see it?
Can you
I
see
don't know. I'm not in that chat.
it? Go.
I'll make it wider.
Woo! Epic. Whoever joined, hello.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, hi.
Or just
Hi.
to see if it worked. Anyway, yeah, y'all are free. Stamps are here.
Yeah, everyone. The green gremlin has released us
When I saw the
from.
grass shooter, I was like, oh,
the
that
eternal
grass is
green.
hollow.
For the fact that I
Oh,
haven't
just
been
now.
home in 3 days, the fact that I'm in all mostly green actually is hilarious
Oh,
for
this
this.
is weird.
Truly.
God,
We should do
this
a rattling
got
log.
Something on
Yeah.
like a
Oh,
And this time,